And on today's episode, this first episode of February, we are going to be revisiting my framework for financial success that I learned from getting in the best shape of my life back in 2020 during the pandemic. What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Fast Lane. And as always, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And I'm your host, George Acheampong. Nonetheless, it's something I learned through macros. I'm not sure if you ever heard of counting macros, and basically they're macronutrients. And it really simplifies how to determine if you are eating the right types and amounts of foods to hit your nutritional and fitness goals. And what makes it really simple is you have three main buckets. You have carbs, proteins, and fats. And as long as you hit the respective numbers that you're supposed to hit, then you're, for the most part, going to be in good shape, right? So when I went through that process, it taught me a lot about how you could simplify your financial life as well and hitting your financial goals. And what were the three main buckets that you could kind of simplify it to, right? And that's what we're going to go over today. The first one is make. How much money do you make? Now, believe it or not, making money can be, right, the greatest lever you have to building financial freedom. Right now, it seems pretty self-explanatory, right? Because if you make a lot of money, then you have a lot of clay to mold, and you can use that money to do great things. But as I'll explain shortly, making money is not the only bucket or thing that's important, but it is important nonetheless. So when you think about making money, it is your greatest lever towards building wealth. Now, here's what really did it for me and reminded me that this was true. So I took a trip to Ghana, West Africa, which is where my dad is from. My mom was born here. I'm half Ghanaian. And of course, I've gotten a chance to travel quite a few times back to Ghana. And one of the trips I got a chance to visit with my uncle. And he told me why he became an entrepreneur. And he said it something like this. He said, "You know, I became an entrepreneur. It's because my take-home pay could not take me home." Right? And I died laughing, but I completely understood what he was saying. What he was saying is he had more month than money, right? Based upon his expenses, right? And the money that he was making, he just didn't have enough. And so he needed to make more money. So being in control of your income, being able to have high income skills that allow you to make more money can make everything easier on your journey towards building wealth, right? So what you make is an important component. I remember like it was yesterday when I used to work with some of my clients from the past, and we would go through their budget, go through their expenses, go through their cash flow, and there was really nothing else that we could cut, right? It kind of was what it was. And I just told them, hey guys, you just have to make some more money. And sometimes that's an uncomfortable conversation or uncomfortable thing to hear, but it is the truth, right? Like most people think that it takes them 25, 30, 35, 40 years to retire because that's just how long it takes to retire. In reality, it's because they don't make enough, because the average person makes about $50,000 a year. And if you do everything right, you can put away 10% of your income. And if you look at the average returns of an investment portfolio, it's going to take you 35 years to have a decent nest egg, right? So when you realize that financial freedom is a number and it's a math equation, it has nothing to do with age and everything to do with assets, then you realize one of the greatest levers towards getting there is your income, right? So number one is, what are you making and how are you increasing your high income skills so that you can make more? All right, number two, how you manage it. Because here's the thing, you can make all the money in the world, but if you don't manage it effectively, right, then it's not going to matter. So how are you managing your money? Now, for me, I like to give people a very simple framework and looking at your finances through both a qualitative and quantitative lens, okay? So the quantitative lens is very straightforward. It's X's and O's, it's black and white. You made X amount of dollars, you have this much in expenses, this is how much you have in surplus, or this is how much you're short, right? Once you have that number, you can then identify, are there areas of opportunity to reduce my budget? And again, in some instances, it's not always about reducing. It's just do you need to make more money, right? But we all probably have some areas where we can tighten our belt a little bit, doing one too many takeouts and not cooking at home. As my mom used to say, you got McDonald's at home or do you have McDonald's money? And just like shopping, all those miscellaneous expenses, right? So have you evaluated those and created some opportunity if there is an opportunity? The more important part of this exercise is the qualitative aspect, right? And the qualitative aspects is, does your spending align with what you say you value? If I were to look at what you spend and match that with what you told me, the things that matter to you and the things that you value, would there be alignment? Would there be synergy, right? You say, I value time with my family. I value travel. I value financial freedom. Am I going to see an abundance of transactions transferring money to your investment account? Am I going to see transactions that align with quality time with your family? Am I going to see transactions that align with that trip that you're planning for? If not, and I see you nickel and diming yourself on everyday purchases, online shopping, eating out, etc., that is what tells me the real truth. I think the late great Vince Lombardi had a quote that I'm probably going to butcher, but it was something along the lines of like, I can't hear you because your actions are so loud, or something like that. Basically, like, what you do is what really tells the story, not what you say, right? So going through that exercise, both qualitative and quantitative, will give us some insight onto what you value and how you can better manage your money to align to your goals to achieve financial freedom faster. All right. And the last bucket is maximize, right? How are you maximizing your money through investing, right? So one of the things that I always like to tell people is you need to have lifestyle and wealth building alignment, right? If you know that you don't want to be checking on real estate properties, then maybe that shouldn't be your investment of choice. If you know that the stock market freaks you out and that's not something you want to learn about or do, then maybe you should focus on real estate and shouldn't do the stock market. Once you determine that, then it's about, okay, based upon my goal, what is going to get me there efficiently? What has the highest probability of success, so that I can start to align that surplus cash flow I have into assets that are going to make my money work for me. Because here's the thing, all these three things are interwoven. If you are a great manager of money, right? You're super frugal, you never eat out, you never buy any clothes, you never travel, great. But if you only make $50,000, $40,000 a year, it's not going to matter because you just don't have enough clay to mold, right? In my humble opinion. Not to say that the everyday person can't become financially independent, and not to say that you shouldn't start where you are. I'm just encouraging you as your rich relative to say, maybe I should focus on increasing my earning potential so that I'm not decreasing my quality of life in the name of frugality. Okay. Now, if you make an amazing amount of money, right? You make six figures, multi six figures, maybe even seven figures, but you are terrible at managing your money, then that's not going to matter, right? So you have to make sure that you're being a good steward over your money. Or conversely, if you're making tons of money and all you're doing is saving it, that could be cool, but it's going to be the slow boat to China when it comes to being financially independent, because your money, not only is it not working for you, it's actually losing its purchasing power to inflation. Okay. And now, what if you're a great investor? What if you get 100% returns every year in the market, which is unheard of. If you would, everybody would be beating your door down. But let's just say that you did. But the challenge is you're only investing $100 a year, right? Because you don't have the money to invest. So all of these things are interwoven, and we need to do all three, right? We need to increase our income earning potential and develop our high income skills. We need to be good stewards over our money and manage it effectively. And we most certainly need to find ways to make our money work for us so that it can expedite the timeline. Now, as a bonus, because I believe in over delivering, there are two more things that you should always consider when it comes to your money management plan, right? One of those is moat, right? If you look up the word moat, it basically means it is the protection around the castle, right? In the finance world is referred to as like the economic moat, right? It's the protection. And so you can do all this effort to make a lot of money, to manage it well, and to maximize it. But if you don't have the right protection in place, all that could go out the window. If you don't have the right health insurance in place and you got to pay out of pocket, your money can quickly go out the window if you have a health insurance incident. If you have all the money in the world and you for some reason are driving around in America, which is illegal without car insurance, that could be devastating if you get in an accident, right? If you want to leave all this wealth to your family, or you have a plan to leave generational wealth and you're still in your wealth building phase and you don't have life insurance, then that plan isn't going to work. So the moat is basically like, what are those things that I can factor in? They're going to protect me from known and unknown circumstances, right? And then last but not least is your mindset. Because here's the thing. If you don't possess the belief system that you are worthy of more, that you are a person that should and could be building wealth, that you are a person that is worthy of making lots of money and that you're valuable to the marketplace, then all the information is going to fall on deaf ears. You have to have the right mindset, right? That is the engine that drives it all. That is going to be the very thing that motivates you or gives you the propensity to manage your money effectively, to go out in the world and make money, or develop or hire for the skill of maximizing your money, right? So those are two bonuses that I just want to throw in that I think everybody should have as prerequisites to this macros of money philosophy. I hope that this was helpful. We're still very early on in the year, so you can use what I shared to work on your goals and your plan to maximize your money in 2024. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Financial Freedom Fastlane. And remember, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. Freedom is for sale if you're willing to pay the price.